Hello everyone, welcome to Mindspeak on Herald Global. I am Saimik Sen. Joining us today, a very renowned actress of Indian cinema, Mrs Tanvi Azmi. First of all, thank you so much for taking out this time. Welcome to Herald Global. I would like to begin by asking you, how do you approach your role or select a script? What is the process?
Well, for me, the most straightforward answer to that would be that I react very instinctively.
Sure.
That's why I'm very keen to always read a script before I make any kind of commitment. And I like to see how the character impacts me, touches me, what it brings out in me when I am reading the script. So it's more of an instinctive kind of feeling as to how the character has been etched out, how it reads, how it impacts the entire story. So it's not always about my character having the importance, but if there's a film which requires a voice to be heard, then those are the kind of films that I like to be associated with. And basically, I just feel that I go largely by instinct.
Sure.
Of how the character comes across to me. And as far as approaching the role again goes, there is not too much homework that I put into it. But I feel that the entire look of the character is extremely important. I feel if you get that right, then 50% of your work is done. And the biggest thing you can do is be honest to the part that you're playing. And I think that shines through.
Okay. How did Bajirao Mastani happen?
Well, I'm glad it did, but it was not something that I was really prepared for. And in fact, my manager told me that this is something that I should venture out into. I had never played an antagonist before that. And I always seem to come across as a person who's really warm and compassionate, strong, nevertheless, but still coming across as a very, very loving kind of, warm kind of person. So when I went to meet Mr. Bhansali, he just kept saying that, this is a character with a lot of inner strength and lots of, and you have that, but you just come across as a very, very warm, kind of person. So I just said, I don't think that's fair to me as an actor. And you need to believe in me.
Sure.
And one of the tricks which I'm going to share with you is that when he was talking to me, I don't know why, again, this came purely instinctively. And I said, I am going to lock eyes with him. And I'm not going to let him for a second leave eye contact with me, and I will hold him there. And that is how I'm going to convince him that I'm capable of playing this part. And I think that worked because
Sure.
He said, well, it's all gone great and stuff like that. And, it's a big film. We need time to work it out and stuff like that. But from what I got to know from people and him later was that he said, I couldn't get her eyes out of my head. And so obviously that worked for me, and he believed in me. And eventually these kind of parts, the director needs to have the vision, because it's really unfortunate if as an actor you are going to typecast me in what you see me doing well. But if you have faith in me as an actor, then you should believe that I can do other stuff also. So that's how I basically landed the part. And he was, in fact, not even too keen for me to go bald, which I did. I had very, very long hair, and he was feeling terribly guilty about asking me to go bald. But the casting director had told my manager that, listen, she must be prepared to go bald. So I didn't think about it too much. And I said, so Mr. Bhansali said, we'll try out the bald caps and we'll do that whole look and we'll see how it goes. So I did have to cut my hair short. So that's the length of hair that I just chopped off one fine day without telling anybody at home. And I went and I got it chopped off and I came back home because I thought at least that'll, it's enough hair to work with. Under a bald cap, it'll do fine. So we had a look test, and the bald cap worked beautifully. And the people who were doing it were real artists, the makeup people who were doing it. And he said, "This is fine. She doesn't need to go bald. And why are you making the poor girl go bald? And we can work really fine with this." And but they kept telling me, it's going to be short in the summer, and it happens that if you start sweating, then the bald cap starts bubbling, and it's a bit of a bother. Anyway, I didn't pay attention to it. The day before we were supposed to shoot, I had gone on set. The day before I was supposed to shoot, I had gone on set to block the scene, and Priyanka Chopra and I were sitting and chatting. I said, "Listen, I want to go bald." So she said, "Just do it. Just do it. I'm telling them to organize a guy tomorrow on set, and he'll be there when you reach the shoot. And you take it from there. But if you ask me, go bald." So I came home, and the next day I was prepping to go in the morning for the shoot. And I had told my team that you keep a guy who gets the astra and all shave off. So I said, you keep him ready and waiting. So I went shoot pe, and while everybody was getting ready, I went to Mr. Bhansali, and he was setting up for the shot. And I still hadn't got bald. And I said, "Sanjay, I want to go bald, okay? I'm going to shave off my hair." And he was looking at the monitor, and he said, No, don't ask me all these questions just now. I'm setting up for the shot. So I went back to my makeup. I waited for half an hour. I came back and I said, "Listen, I'm doing my scene right now and I need to go bald." So he said, "Actually, you're bothering me too much just now. I can't answer all these questions of yours, and I'm setting up for a shot, and just go. I sat again for half an hour because you're waiting for the other actors to get ready.
Sure.
And this guy was waiting for me, okay, to shave off my head. I went back again about 15-20 minutes later. And I said, "Sanjay, I have to do a scene right now. I need to know who I am. I'm not going to recognize the person when I go bald. I don't know who this person is. I have to get familiar with this person when I look at myself in the mirror." And he looked up at me and he said, "You really want to do it?" So I said, "Yeah." So he said, "Go, don't ask me one more time because I'll say no." So I went back and I took it off. And just before I was shaving my head off, I called up my husband, Baba, and I said, "Baba, I'm going bald, huh?" So he said, "Yeah, just do it." So just go ahead, don't even think about it. So I said, "I'm sorry, but this just makes me tear up every time because it's amazing to have a partner who appreciates, understands, and pushes you in the right direction."
Sure.
So that's how I went bald.
It was very courageous of you. Very courageous.
Yeah.
I must congratulate you on looking the part, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, it was important for the part. You see, because what happens is a bald cap gives it a very smooth kind of sheen. But if you actually go bald, it's like a man getting a stubble, It starts turning green. It looks a little rough.
Yes.
All
yes.
those happen. It looks different. The hairline gets defined with the actual hair growth. So I was very keen for all those things. So I was pretty certain I wanted to do it.
You have married into a legendary family. The family is known for exceptional work in the field of literature, film, arts. So what kind of influence did it have on you?
Yes, it is a legendary family, and each is an achiever in their own rights. And when I came into this family, I was that tiny, age-wise and stature-wise, and in all other respects. Having said that, because my mother was an actor herself and a very, very respected, renowned actor, Usha
Of course. Usha Kiran,
yeah, and when I was growing up as a child, we had a lot of this kind of people with literature backgrounds, art, culture. So from the Marathi background, we had people like Bapu Kale, Gadi Madgulkar, I mean, everybody, Pula Deshpande, these people coming to our house. And some of them were my mother's friends. So I have been exposed to that kind of culture. But it was not as big as it was after I got married. So it didn't alarm me. It was just an extension of my childhood. And the great part about it was they allowed me to have my individuality. They respected me for who I am. And I just kind of eased into the family without, I felt it was family. I was aware of their achievements, but that never overpowered the relationship that I shared with each one of them. And they gave me, and they were very indulgent of me, frankly, and they gave me the freedom to speak my mind, to voice my opinions, which was something that I was used to in my Mica also. And I think it just worked beautifully.
You mentioned your mother. She was a prolific actress from her time. So what do you think you have inherited from her?
I think the greatest gift she could have given me was honesty, because whatever work I've seen of hers, she's very honest to the part that she has played. She's never been in the filmy context. It's been real, it's been heartfelt, and I feel she hits the central node of a character that she's portraying. And I feel that that has been one of the greatest learnings that she may have given me. And I think that works for me. It's partly genetic, and I don't have to work too hard for it. But I think honesty was, as an actor, is the biggest learning that I derived from her.
You have worked with so many directors. Can you name few whom you were like amazed to work with?
I've been, Saimik, I've been really fortunate because I really feel I've had the cream of all directors. I've enjoyed working with them, whether it's my first film, which was with Bapu Saab, who was an extremely renowned and respected director of Telugu films. My journey began from there. Then I have worked with Gulzar Saab. I've worked with Yash Chopra, Yash Ji. I have worked with Sanjay Leela Bhansali. I've worked with um, Adur Gopalakrishnan. In Marathi, I've worked with Nishikant Kamath. I've left out too many. When I remember, I'm going to come back because
Sure.
I really have a plethora of directors. There's Mansoor Khan. So I've really had a wonderful mix of all kind of directors. I worked with Vijaya Mehta in my second film. She's the doyen of Marathi theatre and films, and a fabulous actor herself. So I've just had something that people can be envious of.
So someone who was really very special, you felt completely different.
You know, each of them have their own, I don't know, they're all very special in their own way. Because I seem to have formed a bond with them precisely for those reasons. Whether it was a Gulzar, soft-spoken Gulzar, who was almost whispering in my ear when he was giving me instructions. There was no noise on set. It was just beautiful and quiet and lyrical almost. And he pampered you, but then so did Yash Chopra. Yash Chopra pampered you with food. He spoiled you rotten. He made it like we were on a picnic. When we were doing Dar, we were doing scenes, and we didn't even realize when the scene was over because we were just doing our own thing, and we had a live audience, in fact, watching us when I remember there was a scene with Shah Rukh and Anupam and myself where Shah Rukh has come to find out information about Kiran, played by Juhi Chawla. And we had this whole the team of writers and people visiting and friends, and our scene just took off and we wouldn't stop, and we outran the dialogues, and then we were saying our own dialogues, and it was great fun. And then Pam Chopra, Mrs. Yash Chopra, spoiled us with all the special food, and we would be playing word games. I don't know when that film began, when it got over, when it was quite magical. I've worked with Mr. Bhansali, who is as passionate as you can get about anything. I remember because if I came early on set, he was there. If I was the last one to leave, he was there. So I asked him one day, I said, आप घर नहीं जाते हैं क्या? यहीं रहते हैं? So he said, बस यही है. मेरे लिए तो यही, और कुछ है ही नहीं मेरे पास. And this is what I live for. This is what I die for. And this is where I belong. So they all had their different personalities that they have. And it was wonderful enjoying each of them in their different ways.
So if I ask you about your any particular role which has been very special to you, very close to your heart?
Any role that I feel my director is happy with my performance becomes special for me, more than me being happy with it. Because I feel that I have given him what he envisioned. And if I've managed to do that, then I've succeeded in being a part of his vision. And that gives me immense satisfaction. So I can't really pick a favorite part that I have. Like I said, each has a flavor of its own. And I hope there are some more nicer, better parts which I might do even better waiting for me.
You have worked in a lot of regional films also. So what is the difference in terms of the experience with Hindi movies?
See, I really haven't done too many regional films. I think I've done two. I've done one with Adur sir, Adur Gopalakrishnan, and it had this big star Mammootty in the film. And it was tough on me because I had to speak two languages. One was Kannada and one was Malayalam. Kannada was supposed to be my original language, but Malayalam is something that I've taken on because I moved into that place.
Okay.
And they were both languages I knew nothing of. That was a difficult experience for me. And because you learn, very often you learn the lines right then and there, and you don't really, मोटा समझ में आता है कि ये इसका meaning है. But find the insinuations, the nuances, I used to feel worried that, you could miss out on that when you don't know a language.
Okay.
So that I feel has been a really big challenge. And the other film that I did was Lay Bhari recently, which was Marathi, which is my mother tongue. So as far as the language goes, that really wasn't a problem, though I thought it might be, because I've grown up watching a lot of theatre, Marathi theatre, and I used to marvel at the way these people memorize their lines and the way they see anybody who speaks a language well and has a command over it. I'm quite enamored by people like that. So हमारा कैसा है, convent education है, ये mix है, वो mix है, ये याद नहीं आया तो हिंदी में बात करेंगे, इंग्लिश में बात करेंगे, मराठी में क्यों नहीं, keep slipping. It's a little more fluid. But these people just know their language so well, and they don't slip into any other language. They can communicate completely in that language. So when I was doing this film, Lai Bahari, and in fact, when Nishi came to meet me, and it was the first time I was meeting him, and I said, बाबा मला माहित नाही, मराठीमध्ये मला बोलता येईल, डायलॉग्स बोलता येतील की नाही मला माहित नाही. Of course I speak Marathi. He said, your uchchar, your pronunciation is totally spot on. So I don't think you should have a problem. So these were the differences. But as far as culture goes, as far as performances go, as far as the hard work, effort that you put in, I don't see there's any difference really.
Any difference? Okay.
Yeah, and the budgets used to be a little more, there was a little more constraint on the budgets. But now I think even that is becoming a little more fluid. It's not, I mean, Marathi is also growing beautifully and they're getting theatrical releases and it's quite wonderful what's happening. It was long
Okay.
overdue.
After OTT, how do you think the entertainment industry has changed, especially watching movie in the theater? Do you think the experience has changed for people?
I definitely think OTT has opened up a completely different world for all of us. And the amazing thing is that people are willing to experiment, explore, not just with the content. They're becoming a little more adventurous in their approach. They're wanting to tell more stories, real stories, and because as a result of which a lot of actors are now being discovered. A lot of new filmmakers are finding voices. So overall, I think it has been only a win-win situation. And as far as I am concerned, I feel going to a theater and watching a movie
Exactly.
gives me that the kind of satisfaction that I get there, because you're not getting disturbed. It's almost as if it's all, everybody's in that same bubble. The energies are almost in sync with each other.
True.
Everybody's doing just that. I mean, I get really bothered in theaters if I go and somebody's on their phone and checking their WhatsApps and Instas and stuff like that. And I feel, don't do this, then watch the film at home. Guys, don't do this. It's not fair. And of course, the stakes are much higher. And I feel they deserve that much more attention and respect. But for me, to watch a film that is on a big scale, if it's that the canvas is huge, I would like to go to a theater to watch it.
Okay. Let's talk about television. Okay, you have already done television series like Vani Rani. So you have any future plans? Can we see you again very soon?
Well, television has been my comfort place, my home place for very long. And I have done a lot of television. Vani Rani was again special because I was playing a double role in that. And that was something I've been wanting to do for very long. I mean, I just find it very exciting to play two different characters, the same actor doing uh, two different things. And uh, I was introduced to newer technology. I think it's called Moses, about a new operating system, about how the same characters, like say, handing over a book to the other character, and the other character is receiving it, and
Sure.
stuff like that. So that Vani Rani was enjoyable for that. But I've done a lot of television and I've enjoyed television, and I've enjoyed really good television where, we had done I had done a show called Lifeline, Jeevan Rekha, which was directed by Vijay Mehta. And it was just 22 episodes. And people remember it even now. This was, 30 years ago?
Okay.
And yeah, and I meet doctors in Jaslok Hospital and in Breach Candy, and they come and tell me that, we saw that show of yours and it inspired us to become doctors. And
Wow.
I just feel that was television really in its
True.
element. I mean, people, it was a theatrical experience at that point of time because you got such little of it that उसको बहुत devour करते थे लोग, absorb करते थे, retain करते थे. So I did that. I did another show called Family Number One, which was a comedy. This is something that I like to do. I don't want to stick to any particular genre of movie making, television, film-making. I feel an actor should be allowed to enjoy every aspect that he or she is capable of doing. So Family Number One was a sitcom. And even now, I recently met somebody and he said, ma'am, I was in school then when I was watching that show, and it was, I still watch it sometimes. And, so there are certain shows that stay with you. So I have done television and I have done Mirza Ghalib I've done with Mr. Nasiruddin Shah and Gulzar Saab. So that is something that is again very, very special. And I remember I was very, very young and I was terrified because I was completely in awe of Nasiruddin Shah. And I had never really met him. And I was supposed to do this show, Mirza Ghalib. And the next day I was supposed to go for the shoot. And I was so nervous that I fell in. And I said, मेरे से नहीं होगा, मैं नहीं जा सकती हूँ. Somebody please call up, I told my father-in-law, please call up Gulzar Saab and tell him I can't do this, I can't do this. I can't, मैं कैसे लगूंगी और मेरी पोल खुल जाएगी and सब लोग बोलेंगे नसीरुद्दीन शाह के साथ एक्टिंग कर रही है, इसको कुछ आता भी है या नहीं. So I was really nervous. The doctor had to be summoned and I had to be given an injection and all kinds, बहुत सारा drama हुआ. Anyway, but the next morning, obviously I'm not going to ditch anybody. So with a very heavy heart, I went there and my husband came with me and he had worked with Nasir. So he told him, he said, "Bhai Shah Sahab, meri beevi to bahut nervous ho rahi hai aapke saath kaam karne mein." But after that, Mr. Shah was just charm personified. And he was so loving and so caring and so gentle with me that then I eased out. And in a little while, my father-in-law also landed up at the shoot. So everybody at the shoot said, "Bhai, ये है क्या चक्कर कि पूरा खानदान ही उतर आ रहा है हमारे सेट पे और इतना तो हम डरावने लोग हम है नहीं." और anyway, so then that's how that show went about.
Apart from acting, what keeps you busy?
Oh, I have a lot of interests. I'm interested in a lot of sports. I watch a lot of cricket, especially yes, and I'm rooting for them, and I don't like anybody messing with that. And I also am a huge tennis buff and Federer bhakt, and I just love him to bits. And so I get into scraps with people all the time, including my daughter, because we have this little about who's the greatest of all time and stuff like that. So I do a lot of that, and I also do a lot of puzzles. I do a lot of crosswords. I do a lot of sudokus, kakuros, everything. So my mind has to be ticking all the time. And when I'm not doing that, I'm a full-time wife and mother.
You have seen so much in this industry. So one suggestion, if you want to give to the newcomers, what is that going to be?
I don't think I really am in any position to give.
No, you are very much. Please.
No, any advice, because believe me, Saimik, what I'm seeing of today's newcomers, they are in a league of their own. The kind of dedication and energy and ability to just go on and on working for their project, working towards the project, working after they've completed the project, working for marketing, working for social media. They are on call 24/7. I marvel at them. And I just doesn't cease to amaze me how motivated, how dedicated, and how focused they are. They're an unbelievable lot of youngsters. And मैं तो सोचती हूँ भैया शुक्र है मैं ये टाइम में पैदा नहीं हुई, मेरे से तो नहीं हो सकता था इतना सब. But so really, I mean, there's much to learn from them, and pick out any one of them, and they're all doing it with the utmost dedication, sincerity, focus, hard work. It's amazing.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Azmi. It was lovely talking to you and very insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Saimik. Thank you so much.